We're going to start this video by showing you the nose art on the airplane. And the airplane was flown during World War II by Lieutenant Marvin Arthur, who had Blondie, in a gorgeous blonde, painted on the front by Don Allen, who was his crew chief, Staff Sergeant Allen. And I'm going to zero in on Blondie, and as you can see, she is a gorgeous blonde. I'll back off of that and show you a couple features of the airplane. I'll start with the small hatch in front, which I put into the airplane, and inside, right here it is. Inside is a switch that you turn on and off that sends the electricity to the electronics, which makes a spark and a spark plug. All of the hatches are built this way. This particular one only has one ball, which you buy at Jubro, and this little plastic tube is tubing that's used in carrying the fuel to the engine. And what you do is you build this in such a way, the switch is down inside, but you build this in such a way that the ball comes into contact perfectly and then closes down into the hole. The next thing I wanted to show you was the big hatch. And you can see at the bottom down here there are a couple hinges, and it opens from the top. This was a real hatch on the airplane. Get my fingernail down in there and open it up. See, I'm opening it, and down at the bottom are the two balls that hold this in place. At the top are the two plastic tubes that they go into. I'm going to show you first of all the switch, which is right here, on and off, and that controls the on-off for the receiver, which is inside the fuselage. This is an air attachment. You put your air pressurization system on there, and you pump air to the tank, a Robart tank, which is inside the wing, which I'll show in another video. Up here is the gauge for the air, and I'll try to zero in on that a little bit more. Possibly you can read the gauge, I don't know, but at any rate I zeroed in a little bit. It goes up to 150 psi. We fill the tank to a little over 100. The red connection here is what you put the fuel in, and you pump the fuel into that, and this airplane has a 24-ounce fuel tank. So that is the main hatch. We're going to shove it up and push down, and that locks it in place. On the side of the airplane there's some writing that has the serial number and etc. on it, and then the pilot's name is right here. Now we're going to try to show you a little bit about the cockpit. I'll back off a little bit so that you can see this and back down for right now. This has a sliding canopy with a control, or with a slide in the back and one on each side. I'm going to open this up, and if you bear with me just 1 second, I'm going to get a light so that we can try to see down inside the cockpit. I'll turn the light on here, and we'll come in and see whether or not we can see down in the cockpit. There we go. Yeah, you can see a little bit of the equipment in there. There's the bomb sight. Over on the side there are controls. I think you can probably see the instruments. And you can see the pilot's got his hand out trying to get a hold. I'll shut this off. We'll back off again. Move away from the airplane. Set the light down. And knock the wastebasket over. Of course, this could be on a mechanism which would open and close it automatically. I elected not to do that because it would add weight. Anyway, we'll slide it closed. We do put a screw on each side to hold it in place. And you can see the back side has a battery and radio equipment. Right here, I'll point to it, is where the gas filler was on the fuel tank, which was in the fuselage. And I don't know whether you can read that. It says suitable for aromatic fuel. It's in red letters. And right next to it is the ground, where you put the ground wire. I'll back off a little bit more. The Q and the P, that's how it was on the real airplane. It really stands out with the red around the outside. The star and bar was in this position. I'm going to try to zero in on something here. I don't know whether it can be seen, but it says lift, caution, 1,600 pounds and more here. Right here is the oxygen filler. It says filling instructions inside. Backing off so that we can see the tail of the airplane, which has the numbers on it. 473304, that was on the real airplane. And you can see the inspection panel. It says inspection, and the airplane is covered with flight metal aluminum. That's why the panels stand out like they do. I'm going to back up and try to show you the entire airplane in one view, and I hope it comes in as good as I can see it. This is the first time that I've used this camera, and it appears that it's coming in fairly well. I hope it comes in as well as I think it does. So with that, underneath where the wing fastens into place, you can see the air scoop, which is a functional air scoop, and you'll see that in a future video which I hope to take, which air comes in the front of that air scoop. That was for the radiator and the oil cooler on the real airplane, and it comes out the back. You can see the opening in the back. That's where the tune pipe exhaust comes out.